The morning sun cast long shadows across the marble floors of Riverside Corporate Plaza as Jenna Martinez stepped through the revolving glass doors. At 24, she was the youngest marketing coordinator the prestigious building had ever employed, working for Sullivan and Associates on the 32nd floor. Like most of the building's white-collar workers, she had spent the past 6 months walking through these halls with tunnel vision, focused solely on her destination and her daily tasks. But today was different. Today, Jenna carried with her a lesson learned from her grandmother's recent passing, a woman who had taught her that true character is revealed not in how we treat those who can help us, but in how we treat those we don't think we need. As Jenna approached the elevator bank, she noticed something she had somehow missed in all her previous rushes to reach the 32nd floor. An older African-American man in navy blue coveralls was methodically cleaning the already spotless elevator doors with attention to detail that spoke of genuine pride in his work. His name tag read, Walter Johnson Facilities. "Good morning," Jenna said, breaking from her usual silent routine. Walter looked up, surprised. In his 15 years working at Riverside Plaza, few of the corporate employees had ever acknowledged his presence, let alone greeted him. "Morning, miss," he replied with a warm smile that transformed his weathered face. "You're up early today. I wanted to get a head start on a big presentation," Jenna explained, then found herself adding, "These elevators always look perfect. You do incredible work." Walter's eyes lit up with appreciation. "Thank you kindly for saying so. I take pride in keeping this place nice for everyone. Your presentation going to go well, I hope." The elevator arrived, and as Jenna stepped inside, she realized this brief exchange had brightened her entire morning in a way she hadn't expected. On the 32nd floor, the Sullivan and Associates office buzzed with its usual pre-meeting energy. Jenna's colleagues, ambitious professionals in their late 20s and 30s, were already deep in conversation about client accounts, quarterly projections, and weekend plans. "Jenna," called out Brad Harrison, a senior account executive with perfectly styled blonde hair and an expensive suit. "Ready for the Morrison Industries presentation? This could be the account that makes or breaks our quarter." "Absolutely," Jenna replied, settling into her cubicle. But as she powered up her computer, her mind wandered to Walter's genuine smile and the pride he took in work that most people never even noticed. The Morrison Industries presentation went exceptionally well. Jenna's innovative social media strategy impressed the clients, and by noon, Sullivan and Associates had secured a $1 million contract. The office celebrated with champagne and congratulations, with Brad leading the charge. "This calls for a team lunch at Chez Laurent," Brad announced. "My treat. We deserve to celebrate." As the team prepared to leave for their expensive celebratory meal, Jenna found herself thinking about the contrast between their visible success and the invisible labor that made their work possible. While they celebrated upstairs, Walter continued his essential work below, ensuring the building remained a place where success could happen. That evening, Jenna worked late to finalize details for the Morrison account. The office gradually emptied as colleagues headed home to families, dinners, and evening entertainment. By 9 p.m., the 32nd floor was eerily quiet, with only the hum of computers and the distant sounds of the city below. As she finally packed up her things and headed to the elevator, Jenna noticed lights were still on in the lobby. Curious about who else might be working this late, she decided to take a detour before leaving. In the lobby, she discovered a man she had never seen before. He appeared to be in his 50s, with salt and pepper hair and a security uniform that was pressed and professional despite the late hour. He was seated at a desk behind the main reception area, reading a thick paperback book while monitoring several security screens. "Excuse me," Jenna said, approaching the security desk. "I'm Jenna Martinez from Sullivan and Associates on 32. I don't think we've met." The man looked up from his book. She could see it was To Kill a Mockingbird, and smiled warmly. "Frank Sullivan, Night Security. Pleasure to meet you, Miss Martinez. Working late tonight?" "Just finishing up some details on a new account," Jenna replied, then gestured to his book. "Good choice in reading material." Frank's face brightened. "Harper Lee is one of my favorites. I try to reread this one every couple of years." There's always something new to discover about courage and doing what's right, even when it's difficult. Jenna was intrigued. Have you always been interested in literature? Actually, I was an English teacher for 25 years before I started working security, Frank explained. Taught high school kids about the power of words and stories. After I retired from teaching, I found I missed being around people and having a purpose, so I took this job. You were a teacher? Jenna asked, surprised. What made you choose security work? Frank leaned back in his chair, a thoughtful expression crossing his face. You know, people think security work is just about watching monitors and checking doors. But really, I'm a guardian. I protect not just the building, but the dreams and hard work of everyone who comes here every day. The young lawyer working late on a case that could change someone's life. The accountant making sure a small business stays afloat. The marketing coordinator celebrating a big win. He gestured toward the elevators. Every night, I walk these halls and think about all the hopes and ambitions that fill this place during the day. It's an honor to protect that. Jenna felt a lump in her throat. She had never thought about her workplace in those terms, as a place where dreams were nurtured and protected by people like Frank, who worked while others slept. Frank, can I ask you something? Don't you ever feel unappreciated? I mean, most people probably don't even know you exist. Frank smiled gently. Miss Martinez, appreciation isn't why I do this job. I do it because it matters. Every morning when people walk through those doors, ready to tackle another day, ready to chase their dreams, that's my reward. Knowing I played a small part in keeping their world safe while they rested. He paused, then added, besides, appreciation is a funny thing. It's less about what others give you and more about what you choose to see in your own work. I appreciate the opportunity to serve others, even if they never know I'm here. As Jenna finally headed home that night, Frank's words echoed in her mind. She realized she had been so focused on receiving recognition for her own work that she had never considered the army of people who made her success possible. People who found meaning and purpose in work that society often overlooked. The next morning brought a typical Seattle drizzle, and Jenna decided to grab coffee from a small cafe in the building's lobby rather than her usual expensive coffee shop across the street. As she waited in line, she noticed the young man behind the counter was struggling with an obviously difficult customer. This coffee is terrible. The customer, a well-dressed businessman Jenna recognized from the 15th floor, was complaining loudly. And you're too slow. I have important meetings to get to. The young barista, who couldn't have been more than 22, remained remarkably calm and polite. I'm sorry, sir. Let me make you a fresh cup right away. Would you prefer a different blend? His name tag read Miguel Santos, and despite the customer's rudeness, he maintained a professional smile and quickly prepared a new coffee. When the customer left, without so much as a thank you, Miguel immediately turned his attention to the next person in line with the same positive energy. When it was Jenna's turn, she said, "One medium coffee, please. And I'm sorry about that customer. You handled it really well." Miguel's smile became more genuine. "Thank you. Some days are challenging, but most people are pretty nice. What kind of coffee would you like?" "Surprise me," Jenna said. "You seem to know what you're doing." As Miguel prepared her drink, he chatted easily. "I like to match the coffee to the person. You seem like someone who appreciates balance. Not too bold, not too mild. Let me try this new Colombian blend we just got in." When he handed her the cup, Jenna was impressed by the attention he had paid to the presentation. The foam art was perfect, and the aroma was heavenly. "This smells amazing," she said. "How long have you been working here?" "About 8 months," Miguel replied. "I'm actually a pre-med student at University of Washington. This job helps pay for school and gives me a chance to practice interacting with people, which I figure will be important when I'm a doctor someday." Jenna was taken aback. "You're pre-med? That's incredible. What made you want to become a doctor?" Miguel's eyes lit up with passion. "My little sister has type 1 diabetes, and when she was first diagnosed, the doctors and nurses who took care of her were like angels. They didn't just treat her condition, they treated our whole family with such kindness and respect. I want to be that person for other families. That's beautiful, Jenna said sincerely. How are your studies going? Pretty well, thanks. The schedule is crazy. I work here from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Then I have classes until 8 p.m. And then I study until midnight. But it's worth it. Every difficult customer, every early morning, every late night studying. It's all bringing me closer to my dream. As Jenna took her first sip of coffee, she was amazed. It was absolutely perfect, smooth, rich, with just the right balance of strength and warmth. Miguel, this is the best coffee I've ever had. Seriously. Miguel beamed with pride. Really? Thank you. I've been experimenting with different techniques. I figure if I'm going to do this job, I might as well be the best barista I can be. As Jenna headed to the elevator, she reflected on Miguel's attitude. Here was someone working what many would consider a temporary or a lesser job, but he approached it with the same dedication and excellence he planned to bring to his future medical career. He understood that how you do anything is how you do everything. Over the next few weeks, Jenna began to notice the intricate network of people who kept Riverside Plaza functioning. There was Maria, the cleaning lady who worked the early morning shift, arriving at 4 a.m. to ensure the offices were spotless before the first employees arrived. Despite language barriers, Maria's English was limited. She communicated through warm smiles and took obvious pride in her work. There was James, the maintenance technician, who somehow anticipated problems before they occurred, ensuring elevators ran smoothly. Air conditioning maintained perfect temperatures, and lights never flickered during important presentations. And there was David Chun, the young delivery driver who navigated Seattle traffic daily to ensure packages, documents, and supplies reached their destinations on time. David, Jenna learned, was an aspiring entrepreneur who used his delivery job to study the city's business districts and network with potential contacts for his future company. One rainy Thursday morning, Jenna witnessed an incident that would change her perspective forever. She was waiting for the elevator when she heard commotion from the lobby. Looking down from the mezzanine level, she saw David struggling with a particularly heavy delivery, a large package that needed to reach the 28th floor for an important client presentation. The usual delivery elevator was out of service, and David was trying to maneuver the unwieldy package into the passenger elevator. Several business people stood around, clearly annoyed by the delay, but no one offered to help. "This is ridiculous," complained Jennifer Walsh, a lawyer from the 21st floor. "Can't these delivery people use the service elevator?" "It's broken," David explained politely, sweat beading on his forehead as he struggled with the package. "I'm sorry for the inconvenience. This will just take a moment." Without thinking, Jenna hurried down to the lobby. "Here, let me help you with that," she said, grabbing one end of the package. David looked surprised but grateful. "Thank you so much. This presentation equipment needs to get to Morrison Industries on 28 by 9 a.m., and I'm cutting it close." Together, they managed to get the package into the elevator. As they rode up, David explained, "Morrison Industries is actually one of my regular customers. I've been delivering to them for 2 years, and I know how important their presentations are. The receptionist, Mrs. Patterson, always tells me about the big meetings and how stressed everyone gets." "You know the people you deliver to?" Jenna asked, impressed. "Of course," David replied as if it were obvious. "I'm not just delivering packages, I'm delivering their success. When Mrs. Patterson needs something urgently, or when Mr. Morrison is preparing for a crucial meeting, I'm part of their team, even if they don't realize it." When they reached the 28th floor, the Morrison Industries receptionist, a kind woman in her 50s, greeted David warmly. "David, thank goodness you're here." Mr. Morrison was starting to panic about the presentation equipment. "Always on time for you, Mrs. Patterson," David replied with a grin. "And this is Jenna from Sterling and Associates. She helped me get this up here." Mrs. Patterson shook Jenna's hand gratefully. "How wonderful to meet someone who would help David. He's been such a blessing to our company. Always reliable, always cheerful, even when we have crazy last-minute requests." As they left the Morrison offices, Jenna realized something profound. David wasn't just a delivery driver. He was a connector, a problem solver, a crucial link in the chain of business success. His work might be invisible to most, but it was absolutely essential. "David," Jenna said as they waited for the elevator, "can I ask you something? What's your long-term goal? You mentioned being an entrepreneur." David's face lit up. "I want to start a logistics company that specializes in small businesses. During my delivery routes, I've learned so much about what companies need, what problems they face, and how better delivery and supply chain management could help them succeed." He continued enthusiastically, "Every business I visit, every person I interact with, every challenge I help solve, it's all research for my future company. I'm not just delivering packages, I'm learning the business world from the ground up." Jenna was amazed by David's perspective. He had turned what others might see as a temporary job into a masterclass in business education. That weekend, Jenna couldn't stop thinking about Walter, Frank, Miguel, Maria, James, and David. She realized that while she and her colleagues celebrated their professional achievements, they were completely oblivious to the people who made those achievements possible. On Monday morning, she arrived at work with a plan. "Brad," she said, approaching her colleague's desk, "I have an idea for a new initiative." Brad looked up from his computer, where he was reviewing quarterly reports. "What kind of initiative? Is this about the Morrison account?" "Not exactly. It's about recognizing the people who make our success possible, the building staff, security, maintenance, everyone who works behind the scenes." Brad looked puzzled. "I'm not following. What does building maintenance have to do with our marketing work?" Jenna took a deep breath. "Think about it. When we had that crucial Morrison presentation, the conference room was spotless because of the cleaning staff. The elevators worked perfectly because of maintenance. The building was secure because of night security. The presentation materials arrived on time because of delivery drivers. We succeeded because of a team we never acknowledge." Brad's expression remained skeptical. "Jenna, that's nice and all, but these people are just doing their jobs. They get paid for that work." "We get paid for our jobs too," Jenna countered, "but we still appreciate recognition and respect. Why should it be different for them?" She pulled out a folder she had prepared over the weekend. "I've researched some companies that have implemented employee recognition programs that include all workers, not just corporate staff. The results are incredible: improved morale, better retention, increased productivity, and enhanced company culture." "What exactly are you proposing?" Brad asked, his business instincts beginning to engage. "A monthly recognition program where we highlight the contributions of building staff. Simple things like featuring them in the company newsletter, providing small appreciation gifts, or even just learning their names and saying thank you." Jenna could see she was making progress, so she continued, "Think about the Morrison account. What if we had invited Walter, who keeps our building beautiful, to the celebration lunch? What if we had acknowledged Frank, who ensures our workspace is secure so we can focus on our work? What if we had thanked David for always getting our materials delivered on time?" Brad was quiet for a moment, then said, "You know what? Present this to the team. If you can show how it benefits our corporate culture and potentially our bottom line, I think management might be interested." That afternoon, Jenna presented her Unsung Heroes initiative to the Sterling and Associates team. The response was mixed but ultimately positive. "I like the idea," said Sarah Mitchell, the creative director. "We talk a lot about corporate values and community, but we've been ignoring the community right here in our own building." Tom Rodriguez, the account manager, added, "My wife works in HR at a tech company, and they do something similar. She says it's made the workplace much more positive and collaborative." Even some of the initially skeptical team members began to see the potential benefits. "If this makes our workplace more positive and helps with employee retention, it could save the company money on recruitment and training," noted Lisa Park, always the pragmatist. By the end of the meeting, the team had approved a pilot program for the Unsung Heroes initiative, with Jenna leading the implementation. The following Monday, Jenna arrived at work early with a specific mission. She wanted to properly introduce herself to the building staff and learn more about their stories. Her first stop was the basement facilities office, where she found Walter organizing cleaning supplies with the same methodical care he brought to everything else. "Walter," she said, knocking on the open door, "do you have a few minutes to chat?" Walter looked up, surprised to see the young woman from the elevator in his workspace. "Of course, Miss Martinez. What can I do for you?" "Actually, I was hoping to learn more about you. I realized I see you almost every day, but I don't really know anything about your story." Walter's weathered face broke into a warm smile. "Well, that's kind of you to ask. Not many people are interested in the story of an old janitor." "You're not just a janitor," Jenna said firmly. "You're the person who creates the environment where everyone else can do their best work. That's incredibly important." Over the next 30 minutes, Walter shared his story. He had served in the Army for 8 years, worked various jobs while raising 3 children as a single father, and had been with Riverside Plaza for 15 years. His oldest daughter was now a nurse, his son was a teacher, and his youngest was finishing college. "I'm proud of my kids," Walter said, beaming. "They all turned out to be people who help others, and I like to think I had something to do with that." "I'm sure you did," Jenna replied. "Walter, our company is starting a program to recognize the important work that you and other building staff do. Would you be comfortable with us featuring your story in our company newsletter?" Walter looked amazed. "You want to write about me? About your service to our country, your dedication to your family, and your 15 years of keeping this building beautiful. People should know about the kind of person you are." Walter's eyes grew misty. That would be an honor." Next, Jenna sought out Frank during his night shift. She found him making his evening rounds, checking doors, and ensuring the building was secure. "Frank," she called out as he finished checking the locks on the main entrance, "I was hoping to catch you." "Miss Martinez, working late again? You're becoming quite the night owl." "Actually, I stayed late specifically to talk to you. I wanted to learn more about your background as a teacher." Frank's face lit up with the same enthusiasm she had seen when he talked about literature. Over the next hour, as he continued his security rounds, Frank shared stories about his teaching career, his favorite students, and his philosophy about education and service. "You know what I miss most about teaching," Frank said as they walked through the quiet corridors. "The moment when a student finally understood something they'd been struggling with. That spark of comprehension, that moment of triumph, there's nothing like it." "Do you think you'll ever go back to teaching?" Jenna asked. Frank considered the question. "I've actually been thinking about volunteering at the Literacy Center downtown. Maybe I can still help people discover the power of words and stories." "Frank, that's wonderful. And I have a question for you. Our company is starting a recognition program for building staff. Would you be interested in maybe doing a book club or discussion group for employees? I know several people who would love to talk literature with someone as knowledgeable as you." Frank stopped walking and stared at Jenna. "You're serious? You think corporate employees would want to discuss books with the night security guard?" "I think they'd be honored to learn from someone with your experience and wisdom." The next morning, Jenna visited Miguel at the coffee stand during the busy morning rush. Despite the long line of impatient customers, Miguel greeted her warmly. "Good morning, Jenna." The usual Colombian blend. "Actually, I was hoping to talk to you during your break. I have a proposition for you." During Miguel's 15-minute break, Jenna explained the Unsung Heroes initiative and asked if he would be comfortable being featured in the program. "You want to tell people about my dreams of becoming a doctor?" Miguel asked, touched. "I want to tell people about your dedication, your work ethic, and your commitment to excellence in everything you do. Whether you're making coffee or treating patients, you bring the same care and attention to your work." Miguel was quiet for a moment, then said, "You know, sometimes when customers are rude or dismissive, I remind myself that someday I'll be Dr. Santos, and I hope I never forget what it feels like to be treated as if your work doesn't matter." Your work does matter, Miguel. Every perfect cup of coffee you make, every smile you give to a stressed customer, every time you turn someone's morning around, that matters. Within 2 weeks of launching the Unsung Heroes initiative, The response from Sterling and Associates employees was overwhelming. The first newsletter feature about Walter generated dozens of emails from colleagues who wanted to thank him personally for his years of dedicated service. Walter later told Jenna, with tears in his eyes, that he had received more recognition in 2 weeks than in his previous 15 years combined. "People stop me in the halls now," he said. "They know my name. They ask about my children. Yesterday, Mr. Harrison from your floor brought me a thank you card signed by his whole team." The book club idea with Frank was an immediate success. 10 employees signed up for the first session, where they discussed To Kill a Mockingbird and its themes of courage and moral integrity. Frank's insights, drawn from both literature and life experience, captivated the group. "Frank doesn't just know books," Sarah Mitchell told Jenna after the first meeting. "He understands people. His perspectives on literature are shaped by decades of teaching and real-world experience. I learned more in that 1-hour discussion than in most of my college literature classes." Miguel's story inspired several employees to volunteer at literacy programs and college mentorship organizations. When Brad Harrison learned that Miguel was struggling to afford medical school textbooks, he organized a collection among the staff that raised enough money to cover Miguel's books for an entire semester. "You didn't have to do this," Miguel said when Brad presented him with the check, his voice thick with emotion. "Yes, we did," Brad replied. "You make our mornings better every single day. It's time we made your future a little brighter." The initiative began to attract attention from other companies in the building. David, the delivery driver, mentioned to Jenna that several businesses had started greeting him by name and asking about his entrepreneurial plans. Morrison Industries offered to let me sit in on one of their logistics meetings, David told her excitedly. "They said they want to learn from someone who understands delivery challenges from the ground up. This could be an incredible experience for my future business." Maria, the early morning cleaning staff member, was paired with bilingual employees who helped her practice English during breaks. In return, Maria taught interested staff members basic Spanish phrases and shared stories about her home country of El Salvador. James, the maintenance technician, was invited to present at a company meeting about energy efficiency and building sustainability, topics he was passionate about and knowledgeable about after years of working with building systems. Not everyone was enthusiastic about the Unsung Heroes initiative. Some employees complained that it was politically correct nonsense or a waste of company resources. A few building tenants from other companies criticized what they saw as unnecessary attention to service workers. The most vocal opposition came from Richard Sterling himself, the senior partner of Sterling and Associates, who returned from a month-long business trip to find his company featuring janitors and security guards in their newsletter. "Jenna," he said, calling her into his office on a Wednesday morning, "I need to understand what this initiative is about and why company resources are being used for what appears to be social work." Jenna had prepared for this conversation. She brought with her a folder of data about employee satisfaction, building relationships, and the positive feedback from both staff and clients. "Mr. Sterling, the Unsung Heroes initiative has had measurable positive impacts on our workplace culture. Employee satisfaction surveys show a 23% increase in job satisfaction. We've had 0 staff turnover since the program began, compared to losing 3 employees in the previous quarter." She continued, "More importantly, our clients have noticed the difference. Morrison Industries specifically mentioned the positive atmosphere in our building during their last visit. The Hartley Group said they chose us partially because of our company values and community focus." Sterling looked skeptical. "You're attributing business success to recognizing janitors." "I'm attributing business success to creating a workplace culture based on respect, recognition, and genuine community," Jenna replied confidently. "When employees feel valued and connected to their workplace, they perform better. When we model respect for all workers, clients see us as a company with strong values." She pulled out her final piece of evidence. 3 companies in this building have asked us to consult on implementing similar programs in their organizations. We could potentially develop this into a consulting service, creating a new revenue stream while strengthening our reputation as a forward-thinking company. Sterling was quiet for several minutes, reviewing the documents Jenna had provided. Finally, he looked up and said, "You've clearly put a lot of thought into this, but I want to see concrete business results, not just feel-good metrics." "I understand," Jenna replied. "Give me 3 more months to show you the business impact." 2 months later, Sterling and Associates faced their biggest challenge of the year. Tech Global Industries, a potential client worth $2 million annually, was considering 3 firms for their comprehensive marketing campaign. The final presentations were scheduled for a Friday morning, and everything had to be perfect. Thursday evening, disaster struck. A water pipe burst on the 29th floor, flooding down into the Sterling and Associates office. Important presentation materials were soaked, computers were at risk, and the conference room, where they planned to host Tech Global, was underwater. "This is a catastrophe," Brad Harrison said, standing in the flooded office at 8 p.m. "We'll have to postpone the presentation. There's no way we can clean this up and prepare new materials by tomorrow morning." But Jenna had a different idea. "What if we don't have to do this alone?" She immediately called Frank, the night security guard. "Frank, we have an emergency. Is there any way you could help coordinate with maintenance and cleaning staff for an overnight restoration?" Frank didn't hesitate. "I'll make some calls. We'll get your office back in working order." Within an hour, an extraordinary thing happened. Walter arrived with additional cleaning equipment and a team of building maintenance workers. Maria came in on her night off to help with the water extraction. James worked through the night to set up fans and dehumidifiers. David, the delivery driver, used his network of contacts to get emergency printing services and replacement materials delivered by 6 a.m. Miguel arrived at 4 a.m. with coffee and breakfast for the entire restoration team, refusing to accept payment. "You're all working through the night to help each other," he said. "The least I can do is keep everyone fed and caffeinated." But the most remarkable contribution came from Frank. While the others worked on the physical restoration, he helped Jenna and her team recreate their presentation materials, drawing on his teaching experience to help them organize and refine their content. "Remember," Frank told them as they worked through the night, "a great presentation isn't just about facts and figures. It's about telling a story that connects with your audience. What story are you trying to tell Tech Global?" By 7 a.m. Friday morning, the office was not only restored but looked better than it had before the flood. The presentation materials were perfectly prepared, and the team was ready for the most important meeting of their year. When the Tech Global executives arrived at 9 a.m., they were amazed by the story of the overnight restoration effort. "Let me understand this correctly," said Jennifer Walsh, Tech Global's CEO. "Your office was flooded yesterday evening, and through the coordinated effort of building staff, security, maintenance, and delivery personnel, you were able to fully restore operations by this morning?" "That's correct," Jenna replied. "But more than that, each of these individuals went above and beyond their job descriptions because we've built relationships based on mutual respect and appreciation." "And the night security guard help you refine your presentation content?" asked Marcus Johnson, Tech Global's marketing director, clearly intrigued. "Frank is a retired English teacher with 25 years of experience," Brad explained. "His insights into communication and storytelling were invaluable." The Tech Global team was fascinated by the story and asked to meet some of the people who had contributed to the overnight effort. When Walter, Frank, Miguel, and David were introduced, the clients were impressed by their professionalism, dedication, and obvious pride in their work. "This is exactly the kind of company culture we want to partner with," Jennifer Walsh announced. "A company that recognizes and values all team members, that builds genuine community, and that can mobilize this kind of collaborative effort when challenges arise." Sterling and Associates won the Tech Global contract, the largest in the company's history. The success of the Tech Global presentation and the role of the building staff in that success finally convinced Richard Sterling of the value of the Unsung Heroes initiative. At the company's quarterly meeting, he publicly praised Jenna's leadership and announced that the program would be expanded and made permanent. "What Jenna has shown us," Sterling told the assembled staff, "is that business success isn't just about individual achievement. It's about creating communities where everyone's contributions are valued and recognized. He announced that Sterling and Associates would be launching a consulting division focused on workplace culture and employee recognition programs, with Jenna as the director. Our experience with the Unsung Heroes initiative has taught us valuable lessons about leadership, community building, and creating workplace environments where people thrive. Sterling continued, companies are already asking us to help them implement similar programs. The announcement was met with enthusiastic applause, but for Jenna, the real reward came from seeing the changes in the people she had come to know and respect. Walter's confidence had grown tremendously. He had been promoted to head of facilities and was now training new staff members. His approach emphasized not just cleaning and maintenance, but understanding their role and creating positive environments for others. Miss Jenna taught me something important. Walter told a new employee during training, we're not just cleaning offices. We're creating spaces where people can do their best work, where dreams can come true, where important work gets done. That's a responsibility I take seriously. Frank had started volunteering at 3 different literacy programs and was considering a part-time teaching position at the community college. The book club had grown to 25 regular members and had become one of the building's most popular employee activities. Literature has always been about understanding the human experience, Frank told the book club during their discussion of the help. But talking about these books with all of you has reminded me that every person has a story worth hearing, worth respecting. Miguel had been accepted to medical school with a full scholarship, thanks in part to recommendation letters from Sterling and Associates employees who had witnessed his work ethic and character. The company had also set up a small scholarship fund in his name for other working students. When I become a doctor, Miguel said during his farewell celebration at the coffee stand, I'll remember that healing isn't just about medical knowledge. It's about seeing people as complete human beings, respecting their dignity, and understanding that everyone has something valuable to contribute. David's entrepreneurial dreams were becoming reality. With mentorship from several Sterling and Associates executives and connections made through his delivery work, he was launching his logistics company with 3 corporate clients already committed. The delivery job taught me that success in business isn't just about efficiency. David explained to Jenna, it's about relationships, about understanding people's needs, and about being reliable when it matters most. Maria had become an informal Spanish tutor for employees and was considering pursuing her GED with the encouragement and support of her new friends at Sterling and Associates. James had been promoted to building operations manager and was implementing energy efficiency programs that were saving money while improving working conditions throughout Riverside Plaza. News of the Unsung Heroes initiative spread throughout Seattle's business community. Local newspapers wrote articles about the program, and Jenna was invited to speak at business conferences about workplace culture and employee recognition. But perhaps the most meaningful recognition came from an unexpected source. The Seattle Service Workers Union invited Jenna to speak at their annual meeting about the importance of dignity and respect in all types of work. What Ms. Martinez and Sterling and Associates have shown, said Union President Robert Chin, is that recognizing the value of all workers isn't just good for workers.